G'day, legends. All right, it is officially Money Moicano fight weekend. Oh my God, I just kicked the desk. Doesn't matter. And the legend has done a bunch of interviews. One of those interviews, he talked about the Ultimate Fighter TV show and how he plans to turn that around and save that show. So that is what today's video is about. It is whether or not Money Moicano versus Paddy Pimblett can save the Ultimate Fighter TV show, and whether or not one of our favorite TV shows from the past is actually dying out or not, because we used to bloody love that show, mate. God, I love the fact that Moicano has actually gone ahead and learned some English. We are seeing so much more from that fighter and his personality now that he's going out there, doing these interviews, learning that he's understood the game of MMA, right? Not just understanding what he needs to do in the cage, but understanding that he needs to be entertaining on the microphone and in his post-fight call-outs. Has anyone noticed that a Moicano interview or a Moicano podcast is very different to the way that he acts in a post-fight call-out? Moicano has actually realized what very few fighters have ever realized, right? When DC or Bisping or Rogan holds that microphone up to your face, right? And you're on a main event or a co-main event, that 30 seconds there can propel your career massively, and for God's sake, take advantage of it. It might even be more important than your actual fight in the cage. Look at Moicano's fighting style, right? It's a little bit wrestle heavy. Yeah, we could say he's stealing from the school of the Dagestanis, right? It's not the best in the world to watch anymore, but on the microphone in that last 30 seconds, he steals the show. As Tito Ortiz would say, Moicano's only here because of his mouth.
Tito always says I'm using my mouth to get my opportunities. The only person I know that made money using their mouth is his ex-wife.
Which is fine, honestly. Like, I do love seeing all of this from Moicano, okay? Or everything that he's talked about, and how he's talked about The Ultimate Fighter, how it's kind of trash, right? It was once one of our favorite shows back in the day, you know, those goated seasons of like John Jones versus Chael Sonnen or McGregor versus Faber. That's peak for me though, but that's only because like I'm a McGregor boomer, right? That's when I came into this sport. I was part of the Conor McGregor hype train. Lame. Unfortunately, however, the show, The Ultimate Fighter, has been declining to pull numbers, right? Even with stars like Conor McGregor recently on the show, it is still a dying TV show. Check this out, right? Conor McGregor's return for The Ultimate Fighter season 31 only produced about 300,000 average viewers on ESPN, right? Whereas in the tough season 2022, debuted with 600,000 viewers or thereabouts back when it was on Fox Sports once. And that once won. And that was with McGregor and Faber, right? Now, we are talking about the exact same TV show with the exact same main cast. I don't think having Michael Chandler instead of Uriah Faber cuts the viewership numbers in half, right? I don't think Michael Chandler has that much pulling power, no matter how much Michael Chandler would like to think that he does.
I am the most entertaining lightweight on the planet. God bless. See you at the top.
And I think a lot of it has to do with just the format of the show, right? People go into a house, it's very Big Brother-esque, right? There's drama between the two of them, and who cares? Who cares about the drama going on with the people inside the house? This is fighting. This isn't TMZ or Love Actually or Sexy Young People Island where they have sex with each other and then one of them gets voted out at the end of the week and they're all cheating on each other and it's all sticky. This is MMA, right? We want to see fighting. We don't care where you come from. We don't care where you're going. We don't care what your dog's name is. We don't care how poor you are. We're all poor, mate. We're all poor. We shut down the economy for like a year and printed a bunch of money. Everyone's poor now, mate. We don't care about any of that. We want to be entertained for a little bit. So one of those interviews that Moicano did was the MMA Guru interview. And he and Guru, they talked about how they would do something different, right? How the actual fighters training show that. And I love that. I do genuinely love that. I would love to see these amateur fighters come into the house, share their best techniques with Moicano or with Paddy Pimblett, and then watch how Moicano or Paddy Pimblett could improve that. That way, you're not giving up too much of Moicano's or Paddy Pimblett's best techniques. You're just helping elevate the fighters that we do have in there and showcase some of that. Spend a 10-minute segment on how they go for the right overhand with the left hand knee pick and actually roll into a takedown, something like Dricus du Plessis does. But actually spend time breaking down these sequences, right? And watch them drill it and drill it and drill it. And obviously, while you're filming the show, you're filming each team behind closed doors. So the other team doesn't know what we know, what the other team is training for. And then at the end of that week, you actually get to see this 10-minute amateur fight play out, and we can see this chess match happen in real time. And then give us a bit more of a breakdown between the rounds, right? Like, I know there's only 1 minute between the rounds. We usually get that. We usually get that zoomed in on a corner and we get to listen to the coach's cornering. But do that thing where they cut to the interview room and the coach gives us a little bit more of a breakdown on how he was thinking about analyzing and changing the game plan when we go into the next round. You know, I want to see some in-depth coaching.
Dig deep, buddy. We're almost done with this. Dig deep.
That would be way better than watching a bunch of 25-year-old to 28-year-old fighters that were not, frankly, good enough for the Contender Series, talking about how poor they are for 12 episodes. And then, of course, there's picking out who are going to be the stars of the show, who is going to lead it. Money Moicano's idea of going after Paddy Pimblett, right? This is a great idea because they're not both champions. The UFC is stuck in this rut where it's either a champion on the show or Conor McGregor. And obviously that is not working anymore, okay? When it's not champions on the show anymore, we can free up the champions. It allows us to actually have more active pay-per-views and pay-per-view champions going on rather than Valentina Shevchenko being locked in a house for a year filming tough, okay? You're never gonna make some of these champions interesting to us. Look, for example, right, when Robert Whittaker was on the show, I love Robert Whittaker. I love him. He's a great bloke. I'd love to go have a beer with him, order some pizzas, put some fights on in the corner, have a bit of a gaming session, play COD. It'd be a hell of a time. Watching him in the tough house, though, trying to stir up a rivalry for 8 weeks, is boring as shit. The bloke is just way too nice for that. Now, you take Joaquin Buckley and Colby Covington and put them in the tough house, right? And see what's going to happen at the end of it. Tell them at the end of that season there's a #1 title shot. Now we got some playboys, right? Or you take Marvin Vettori and put him in there against Paulo Costa.
You said that Sean Strickland was a soy boy with a liberal chin, and then you captioned it, "I love Mexico." Could you explain that one?
Yeah, I love Mexico, you know.
Are you telling me that this show doesn't just write itself now, right? Marvin Vettori, Paulo Costa, put him in there for a couple of weeks, get a whole bunch of newbies in there. It's like the peak of The Simpsons, mate. This is what The Ultimate Fighter needs, right? Because when you look at the way The Ultimate Fighter has been trending over the years, it's not good. So let me know down there in the comments, what would The Ultimate Fighter need to do to save itself as a TV show? Is Money Moicano onto something here? Would you watch Moicano versus Paddy Pimblett, Tough 30, 34, whatever season we're up to? Put it down there in the comments. That is the last video for the working week, so you guys have yourselves a great weekend. If this is your first time here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Every single one matters. Join the community. We do videos every single working day of the week. Plus, I try and squeeze in 3 live streams a week where we openly debate with each other. It's a damn good time. We just finished debating the pound for pound list. You can go and check that video out. And we are currently in the middle of a heated debate of the top 50 boxers in the UFC right now. It is driving me crazy. If you've already been on board with the channel, you know what to do. Hit that like button, help this channel grow and expand so I can spend more time working on it. And until then, I will see all of you in the next video. Have a good weekend.